guys. For today, Tuesday, April 14th, we are going to be looking at graphing inequalities on a number line. You have seen inequalities before. We worked on them in previous grades. And so because of that, you will need to tap into that prior knowledge of your previous grade levels that help you understand greater than and less than and comparing two quantities. We're still comparing two quantities. We're just now involving some variables. And now you're not just looking at two different numbers, but you might be looking at a number of different numbers. Okay. As always, to be that good student, make sure that you are taking notes. This continues to be beyond the units that you have in your notebook. So make sure that you're taking notes of this lesson. That will help you stay engaged. That will help you understand it better and be able to come back to it. For today, let's look at introducing inequalities. Okay, what is an inequality? In earlier grades, like I mentioned, we used inequalities on examples for things like 5 is less than 13, or 2.5 is greater than 2 4/10. Okay, both of those greater than, those less than, and those equal to symbols are what you're used to working with. We're now in 6th grade going to add a different element to it. And what we're going to do is we are now adding variables to it. That means that there's not just going to be one number that satisfies this inequality. For instance, on this first one, x is greater than 5. Okay. What that means is that there are an innumerable amount of possible solutions for x. Okay, there are an infinite number of things that x could be equal to. Okay, x could be equal to 6. X could be equal to 2,000. Okay, x could be equal to 2 million. X could even be equal to like 5 1/100th. All of those values of x, whatever you come up with, are going to be greater than 5. And so x can really equal any number, including decimals, including fractions, any number that is greater than 5. Okay. Or for example, on our second one, x is less than 0. Well, if x is less than 0, we automatically know all of our answers for x are going to be negative numbers. Okay, they're all going to be less than 0. So -1, -2, etc. All of those negative numbers, even half numbers, even decimals, as long as they're negative, are going to be less than 0. Okay, with another element that we're going to add to this, we are now going to include, since x can be any number of values, we're going to add another element that is called greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. Let me give you some examples. Okay, in this first one, this strange symbol that's right here is our mathematical symbol for less than or equal to. The way that you read that is literally x is less than or equal to 12. To give you a real world example of that, if you're out in a restaurant, or if you're ordering from a restaurant in our current situation, if you're ordering from a restaurant and you're ordering from the kids menu, they frequently will say the kids menu is for children 12 and under. What that means is that if you're 12, you can still order off the kids menu. If you're less than 12, you can still order off the kids menu. But if you are more than 12, you cannot order off the kids menu. Okay, in our second example, again, this symbol that's here in the middle, that is the symbol for greater than or equal to. Okay, you'll notice on both of those symbols, it looks like either the less than or the greater than symbol, but all of a sudden it has a line on the bottom. So they've sort of merged your greater than and the equal to symbols. They've sort of merged them together and just made this one symbol. So x is greater than or equal to 48. again, to give you another real life situation. If you're at, say, Elitch's and you're going to go on some of those amusement park rides, if you're going to go on like the Tower of Doom, or you're going to go on to Twister 2 or something like that, they will always have a height requirement. And that height requirement, especially on roller coasters and some of the scarier rides, is always 48 inches or more. They have signs up that say you may not ride this ride if you are less than 48 inches. Okay, meaning if you are more than 48 inches, or if you are 48 inches, you can ride the ride. That's where you're going to use that greater than or equal to symbol, is because you can be 48 inches and still ride the ride, or you can be more than 48 inches and still ride the ride. As long as you are at least 48 inches, you can get on the ride of your choice. Okay. These inequalities of comparing those numbers are allowing us, in our case of our roller coasters, are allowing us to say, okay, what group of people can ride this ride? Well, it's anyone that would be 48 inches or taller. Okay, that is where our comparison is. We're comparing 48, and we're comparing the heights of all of these other people. And those that are at least 48 inches and higher are the ones that are going to get to go on the ride. Okay. Do a little bit of your math for you. Here you're going to be comparing, only this time you're only going to be doing greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, so I'm going to do this first one for you. It is -2 5/10 and -2 1/2. So you are comparing those numbers. Okay, is -2 5/10 greater than, less than, or equal to? Well, they're both negative, so that isn't something I need to worry about. They both have 2 in the whole number column, and then one has half, it has a fraction, and the other is 5/10. Well, I know 5/10 and 1/2 are the same thing. So I know that this one is going to be equal. Your job on the rest of this slide is to figure out, are they greater than, or are they equal, or are they less than? Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure if you have any questions, you send us an email or a chat.